Today, I'm going to interview Michelle Garner. She is the daughter of Aaron and Heidi Garner, who are the founders of Piano Marvel, the software that I use to teach that I've been using for a couple of years. And recently, I've been able to work with her in helping teachers better understand and know how to use Piano Marvel in their studios with their students, and helping other people who want to use Piano Marvel as well. And something that's happening in Piano Marvel only happens once a year. It's happening in February. And I thought I wanted to invite Michelle on to talk about it and share about it because she is the expert on this. And it is the Piano Marvel YouTube competition, which my students are participating in, but anyone around the world can participate in this. And I wanted to ask her about that. And you're in for a treat. She is a marvelous human being, a wonderful mother, and truly knows what she's talking about. So I hope you enjoy this interview. Okay. Michelle, will you share with us quickly first a little bit about what is Piano Marvel?
Sure. Yeah, Piano Marvel is an app both on iOS as well as web-based that basically teaches people piano. It was basically designed for like an aid to teachers, but people who don't have a teacher can also learn piano using it as well.
Yeah, and if anybody knows me, they know I love Piano Marvel. I've been using it for a couple of years, and I love working with Michelle. She is awesome. She helps all of our teachers, and so she's your go-to person. So she is the one that I wanted to talk about what is going on in Piano Marvel right now, because she really is the expert on this. So what is the Piano Marvel YouTube competition, and how often does it come around?
Okay, so the Piano Marvel YouTube competition is an annual competition we've been having for, I want to say, over a decade, like 13 years or something around there. And it happens once a year at the end of February. That's when the deadline is. So I believe it opens up for people to put videos in around the end of December, but it closes the last day of February every year. And basically it's a time for everyone to showcase what they've done throughout the year, the performances that they've recorded, or a lot of people will just learn a performance specifically to record it for this competition, put it in and share it with the world. It's called the competition, YouTube competition, but I think first and foremost, it's a way for students and just, piano learners in general to kind of create a digital portfolio of the things that they've done over the years.
And I think this is the second year that me and my studio have been participating in the competition. And it's really fun to look back and see what we've been able to create. We kind of take our best performances from the year, and it's nice to have kind of a catalog of what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be interesting for people to know how this came about in the first place.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of because of me that it came about. So my dad is the creator of Piano Marvel, for those of you who don't know. I was, I think, 11 when he created Piano Marvel, and I never was a very good piano student. I was the one that no piano teacher wants to have. I had lots of other things going on, and I'd prefer to play a sport or be outside or do pretty much anything else, hang out with my friends, than practice piano. And he didn't want to make me hate it, but he wanted to keep me in piano so that I would always, be in it so that if I wanted to come back to it later, I would have those skills. Or if I didn't, then I'd at least have like a base skill level. So he created this competition so that I would have some way to, or he would have some way to motivate me to want to learn at least one piece every year. And it totally worked. And it may not work for everybody, but most kids it will work for, because it's something really like something you're so proud of when you work really hard to perfect a piece. You pick something that's a little too hard for you, you work really hard on it, and then you perfect it over the course of, you know, a few months. And then you get it to the point where it's video quality, where it's that perfect, and you record it over and over and over until you get one you like. It's something that you can be proud of. So now that I'm a teacher, I do it with all of my students as well. So I have experience from doing it myself as a kid and a teenager, and then doing it with my own students and myself as an adult. And it's just incredible. It's one of my favorite things to do with my students, and one of my favorite memories as a piano student growing up.
Yeah, one thing I really love about the YouTube competition is that, so the software itself teaches you all the notes and the rhythms. It helps you with your sight reading. It helps you get those songs to the point where you can take them to the next level, the performance level. But this is the one thing that is so focused on that, taking it to that next level, working on the musicality and the performance, and even beyond that into video editing, which is becoming more and more of a thing for those who are venturing into that realm. So, so for me, it fills in the gaps that can be there. It takes it to the next level. What would you say, how many entries are often coming into the competition now compared to when you first started? Like, has it grown? I think it has, but I think you know the details more.
Yeah, we'd still love to see it grow a lot more, but it's definitely grown in recent years. In the beginning, it was probably, you know, a few dozen students, and then now it's a few hundred. So it's definitely grown, but also has a lot of room to grow.
So tell us a little bit about the different categories and prizes, and because I guess we should clarify, do you have to use Piano Marvel to participate in this competition? We should answer that first. And then also kind of the structure of how it works.
Yeah, so no, you don't need to use Piano Marvel to participate in the competition. Lots of people that don't use Piano Marvel do participate. You basically just need to record yourself playing a song, any song from anywhere, whether it's in Piano Marvel or not, upload it to YouTube and put it into the registration link. So it's super simple, and you don't have to be a Piano Marvel user, part of our community, to do that. As far as the structure and the different divisions go, I don't have it in front of me, so I hope I don't mess anything up, but it's early elementary is the first division, then late elementary, and we have middle school, high school, adult, which is obviously 18 and beyond, and then the ensemble category, which is of, you know, any ages, but it's more than one pianist, or it could even be a pianist plus another instrument or singing or whatever. And then we have the composition category, which is also, you know, ages, I guess, 0 to whatever. So it's just for people who have created their own arrangements or compositions. So it's a really cool structure because everybody is able to participate, and there are prizes for those that win. I want to say it's $50 for elementary, $75 for middle, $100 for high school and beyond, I think. Honestly, I don't really remember. I think that's it. But really the point behind it isn't so much the winning. So I don't really focus on that. I never assume that I will win or that any of my students will win it. That would be great. That would be cool for them. But that's not really the point of it for me.
Yeah, we just, in a teacher meeting this morning, we just were talking about how it's almost more like a showcase. And I compared it to more of like running a marathon, where the goal is to like finish more so than to win. Like you're like, I ran a marathon. It's more like that. Like I created a video for this, what I think of as more of a showcase. Although last year I did place, and I've never placed in anything before. So don't count yourself out that it's a possibility. You definitely can. In fact, didn't you win one of them?
I think I did in high school. Yeah. And that was back when it was smaller. So not as big of an accomplishment, I guess. But yeah, it was a really cool experience for me to win, but not, yeah, even I think the one that I won with is certainly not the video that I'm most proud of either. So I think the big like, I love what you said about like the marathon analogy. I think that's great because it really is more about accomplishing something hard and that you can be proud of, more than like whether or not some judges thought you did good. So yeah.
So I guess to follow up, and I'll follow up with some of my thoughts on this, but why, in your mind, do you think it's something to do? Why would you want to participate in this competition or showcase, however you want to think about it? Why would you want to have that experience?
I mean, I don't know where to start. I think why not? Like, I have a very hard time finding one reason why not to participate. It's like we alluded to a little bit, it's not really about the winning, but it's just the act of creating this portfolio for yourself that will exist through all time. You know, it's on there on the internet and you can send it to whoever you want. It's always going to exist unless you take it down. And it's something that you can go back and look at. My dad always gives the example of my little sister because she started at, I think, age 3 and has done one every single year, if not more than one every single year until now. And she's 15 now. So it's been a lot of time, and watching her grow throughout the years is super cool. So any way that we can do that, I think is awesome. And I don't think I've never seen any other project that does that any better than this YouTube competition.
And this is a really cool because it's not like an elite, like, well, first of all, it's available to everyone. So often there have been local competitions or performance opportunities that are only available to people who are part of an association or in the local area. This is literally open to anyone who wants to do it. And beyond that, it's not reserved for what we might think of as the elite. It's for everyone. And I think of it the same way, like kind of a memory maker. Like, you have these videos you can look back on. Like we have online recitals, and I'm constantly going back to those videos the students have made. But I think maybe my favorite recital is the one where they prepare for the YouTube competition, because they take their best performances and they make them their own, either adding something from their own talents or skills or creativity to it. It just makes it really fun. But another thing that I think about is I would say we're even 2 separate generations, and there's one younger than you as well, and there's one's older than me. And I think the younger generation is growing up in a completely different experience than what I did, like as far as videos are concerned, and the sharing of videos and the creating. And what role do you feel like that has with the performers and the learners?
Yeah, I definitely true. A lot of people who participate in the challenge are senior citizens right now. So obviously that's a completely different generation than the kids that are in piano lessons right now who are participating. And there's a big difference, I think, between not their capabilities, because senior citizens are definitely capable of video editing and things like that. And we've seen some really cool stuff from that. But it's cool to watch these little kids who are growing up with these, like, video being such a big part of their life. I have a student who did like the very most basic video the first year, and then he upped his game with some video editing the next year. And this year he's going all out with lots of cool stuff, like, that I didn't even know how to do. Like, he just like took it and ran with it. I think it's cool to see them, like you were saying, use their own skills that are separate from piano, or that you don't think of as like part of that like skill set, and make something totally new and creative that nobody else could have done, because it takes their different skills or likes and things that they're into and puts it into a video. So yeah, I would say that every generation has a place in this competition, and we've seen really cool stuff from all of them. But it definitely is, like, if you think that your young students aren't capable of video editing, you're wrong. Because they grew up with it, like, they know it better than we know it. So I think it's cool to just kind of let them do their thing and watch them, run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. My son has kind of showed me how to do things on the computer. I don't even know how he knows that, understands that. It's a whole thing.
Like a manual in their brain. Just like
download it from
it. I don't know.
So if someone were to make a video, so if somebody's watching this video and they're like, "Ooh, this sounds like a fun opportunity. I want to do this. I want to participate somehow." I will share resources in the description, some of the things that they can go to. But what are some things you would recommend as some things they could do to create a good video?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, let's talk about the categories that judges will be looking at, just because we've had a lot of people say this isn't fair for this or that reason, and usually they're like opposing reasons. So I want everyone to understand exactly what the judges are looking for. So we're looking for really high quality audio and video, and that does not mean really shiny, sparkly, professional looking video. What that means is it's quality audio and video in that it's not grainy, you can't hear background noise, the visual is clear, good lighting, like there's nothing to like critique. You don't look at it and think like, oh, that's ugly, or like, oh, I can barely hear them. So just make sure that you have the best audio and video quality possible with, the equipment that you have. For most people, a cell phone is plenty. So just make sure that, you don't have background noise, make sure that you have good lighting, bring in some extra lights if you need to. Don't play with like a light behind you. Just, some common sense stuff. Secondly, definitely the quality of the performance is important. That does not mean it has to be super difficult and impressive piece, but it does mean that we don't want to hear lots of mistakes. So perfect it, make sure that you know it inside and out before you record it, or record it over and over and over until you get to the point where you feel like this is a pretty good one that I can use. Another is creativity, and that's where some video editing and things like that come in, but that could also be like a funny costume or like a joke or a dance or something. So just something to make it stand out. Just a normal sit down piano video isn't going to catch the judge's attention as much as something that is kind of out of the ordinary or just a little bit different. Trying to think of anything else. Cami, can you think of anything that the judges look at?
Well, I was just going to say that I'm going to share some clips of videos that people have created in the past that will kind of give some ideas of, and a lot of times they'll come up with something that I would not have thought of, that I'm like, oh, how cute. I remember somebody like acted out satin gloves the other year, another year. And I was like, oh, that is darling. And she was such a good little, theatrical gal. She was a good little actor. I guess I should say actress. But that was so cute. So I'm going to add a few of the videos, but I did want to ask you, are there any videos from this whole time you've been doing this, a few that stand out that you thought were?
Yeah. As soon as you, one that specifically stood out to me, I will have to remember like the name or even the name of the piece, but it was a young kid, probably like, I don't know, 11 or so, 11, 12. And he did some cool editing things. It didn't look too crazy, like fancy, but he did some cool editing tricks where he made himself like appear and disappear at different pianos. So he was in like a piano store. So he was himself playing on multiple pianos and actually recorded the different parts. So it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And it was this little kid that did this. So I was like just floored by it. It was cool. It was a kind of a long video. So there were some parts that got more boring for me, but other parts were like super interesting. So that's actually one thing I was going to say is like your goal, I guess, if you're putting in a video, should be to make something entertaining. This is entertainment. And the final round is going to be like audience members voting. So it's what's going to keep their attention. So that can be done in so many different ways. So basically make a decent video and then make it interesting. That's it.
It's kind of like what's that dancing show where the people call in at the end?
The Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, thank you. Dancing with the Stars. Yes, that one. So kind of like that. The judges kind of pull some of the top videos and then they present them. And then they have people fill out a form saying which one they would vote for, which is really fun to have everybody kind of engaged in that way. One video I remember that was so cool and so simple, but they did some editing. Again, a little boy, maybe 8, 9, 10, I'm not sure. Yeah. And he had a train coming in, you know the one I'm thinking of, and it was called Homecoming, and the song was called Homecoming, and so he had images on one side of the screen and a picture of him playing on the other side of the screen. And it was all this video of people who had been serving in the military coming home to their loved ones. I cannot watch it without crying. It was such a good video.
Yeah, I have chills right now just remembering that. And so many times. Yeah. And it was simple. And honestly, the kid wasn't very advanced. It was very simple. He didn't even play it perfectly, but he did something so unique and heartfelt and like that drew out emotion. And that's what music is about. It's the ability to make people feel and for you to express your feelings. So that was wonderful. You know, even though it wasn't perfect and a lot of people could have said, oh, that wasn't very good. You know, it was great. So
it was not a fancy song at all. It wasn't that challenging to play, but he nailed, like, it had an impact for sure. It was so good. And another thing I think of is, so my daughter just did a video for this competition and it's in there right now, and she dances. She has a dress on. Oh, your daughter is in the video. She has a dress on and she's dancing. And I was just meeting with another student and her little 3-year-old saw my daughter dancing in that video. And she says, I want to do that. And so it's inspirational for other people that they're like, oh, I love that. I want to. I mean, now that I've seen that homecoming video, I'm like, I need to do something like that. That was amazing. So although we may share ideas, if you come up with something entirely different, you could be a source of inspiration for other people. It's just wide open to what you can do with this. So it's really expanding beyond playing a song to incorporating kind of almost multimedia in a way, because people are sharing different parts of themselves in addition to the music sometimes. And it's fascinating. It's inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Thank you for being the first interview I've ever done, the first interview on this channel. And I just thought it would be better to bring in an expert to kind of share some of all of that, you know, from all of this. And the more people who participate, the better this becomes. So
yeah, it's funny to hear you call me an expert on this, but
well, but who is more of an expert than you are on this?
That's probably true, but it's weird. But thank you so much for having me. I love this competition, like, with all my heart. I think it's one of the best things that students can participate in. So I'm glad to be, oh, here's my daughter. Come to say
hi. Oh, the smile.
Yeah, I'm happy to be able to spread the news about it because it's awesome.
Okay, well, thanks. We'll see you guys later.
Good. Bye.